Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my co-partner Anthony. This is a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. Now, as you can see today, I'm coming from a non-disclosed secure location. So, Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm good. I just feel bad for everyone because I feel like I got my sickness out of the way and now everyone's getting sick.
Yeah.
My wife got sick. You're sick. You're kind of sick right now.
Yes.
Philippe got sick. A couple of our assistant instructors got sick, and I'm just glad they're just like staying away. And I'm pretty sure they're not getting it from the dojo. I'm pretty sure it's from somewhere else. Like there's just been a flu going on, and also there's the RSV, the respiratory sickness virus, whatever it's called. When I just came back from a trip to the East Coast, everyone there on that side was talking about how a couple months ago they were sick. And this year's flu season is really bad. My wife was just telling me how they can tell how bad it is. Today I learned, right? How they tell how bad it is they test the wastewaters. So basically, they test the wastewaters to see how much flu virus there is in the sewage, basically, because everyone pees it out and everything. And that's how they figure out how bad the flu season is this year. And that's pretty bad this year. And I got my flu shot. And I think if it wasn't for the flu shot, I would have been sick a lot longer because I was only sick for like 2 days. And I have that lingering cough thing I still have it. I still have coughing attacks, and here's my inhaler still. I've been actually sharing it with my wife. So,
oh my God, are you supposed to do that?
No, well, you're not supposed to. but she was having it so bad that she's saying her ribs hurt from coughing.
Oh yeah,
and I had that happen before.
Cough so much, and your ribs with your abs. You're like, this is such a great ab workout.
And you're like, ow, and you actually lose a lot of weight from doing that workout. It's not good for your lungs though. But no, she was supposed to go see a doctor, but when she, I guess we're going. Well, I might as well talk about it. She went to urgent care to get to get it looked at, and they're like, you might have the flu. And then they did a nasal swab to make sure that she doesn't have COVID. And that was apparently they can test for the flu. But then we went to talk to some other doctor, and they're like, I don't know what kind of test they give you, but you can't test for the flu. Like you can't test for a flu or something, but I don't know who to believe. But yeah. So she made another appointment with her primary care doctor, and they're like, well, if you had the flu, we have to look at it, but the doctor's pregnant right now. So if you had the flu, she doesn't want to see you right now. And so she's just like, okay, I gotta reschedule. She doesn't want to see you. Yeah, because apparently if the doctor is pregnant and you have flu-like symptoms, they're going to tell you to reschedule for later. But then it's like, why do I need to see you when a few weeks later I'm going to be good anyway?
Better at that point.
Yeah, so there's some interesting things I learned from this really bad flu season. I don't think it's ever been this bad. I might start wearing masks again when I teach kids because I noticed, I'm pretty sure I got sick from teaching kids. I don't go out anywhere else. The dojo is pretty much the only place I go to. So I probably won't wear a mask when I train because it's just annoying. But with kids, I think it's a good idea to just keep the mask on just because I don't have to roll around with them. I can just keep the mask on. Kids are just dirty. I remember the one time I was doing a substitute for the kids, and I saw one of them picking his nose and stuff. And then someone else was geeing. I told him, like, don't do that. And I made a whole joke about, like, if you get hungry, get a snack at home. And the kids are laughing. And then he went and picked his nose again. I was like, oh my God, I told you not to do that. If I catch them doing that, I made them wash their hands, like go to the bathroom, wash their hands.
But so I'm a little under the weather right now. You might be able to tell, might not. You might be able to tell, you might not be able to tell. I took a bunch of Dayquil and stuff, so I'm a little, got that, what is that, medical buzz or something from taking medicine? I overtake, I guess. But let's just get into the show. So I just want to the first thing I want to do today is that I want to give some congratulations to some of our past guests. So this past weekend, one of our older guests that we had, man, I sound like it sounds horrible today. I can't talk. All this medicine, I can't talk.
One of our guests that has been on the show a while ago.
Yes, that sounds good. Okay, so Rossy Rascal, he wrestles in the UK for PCW And this past weekend, he had a Cruiserweight championship match, won the title. So now he's the PCW Cruiserweight champion. Congratulations. Good for you, man. I know it's one of your main federations you wrestle for. It's one of the main places you go to. I'm glad you're getting your comeuppance right there, doing what you need to do. Now, next, I want you to see you become the heavyweight champion, all right? That's the next one for you. I want you to be the heavyweight champ. I want you to hold 2 belts, all right?
How far is Cruiserweight from heavyweight? I'm just so I know.
It depends on the federation, pro wrestling. It depends. Okay. Like in America, in WWE territory, it's 205 and under is Cruiserweight. Anything above that. In Japan, it's like 215 and under, something like that.
Okay.
And up. Well, in Japan, it's called Super Junior. It's Super 215 and down.
It's a K-pop group, Super Junior.
Yeah, the Super Juniors. Which is funny because it used to be a wrestling tag team. They were a boy pop band, but they've done that in America too. It all gets done over again. But it's good for him. Congratulations. Great thing to see. Next thing again, heavyweight champion. Be Rossy Rascal 2 belts. All right.
Wait, so how much is heavyweight? 230?
No, heavyweight would be anything above. Well, in America, anything above 205 would be heavyweight, and in Japan, it'd be anything above 215 would be heavyweight.
Oh, so cruiserweight is right under heavyweight. It's not light heavyweight first.
No.
It's not like
in
UFC.
Pro wrestling, in pro wrestling, there's okay. So some pro wrestling places will do like Major League Wrestling. I think they do lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight to make the things different. But most pro wrestling federations just do like cruiserweight and heavyweight. They're just 2 weight classes.
I don't know how they get these names. Like,
well, okay. So I'm gonna explain this to you. That's actually a pretty interesting question you asked right here. So this actually comes from boxing, because in boxing you have light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and then heavyweight.
Yeah, that doesn't answer where they get these names from, though. Like, where's boxing get it from?
Boxing, I don't know where cruiserweight.
What is a cruiser? Like a PT cruiserweight? Like,
yeah. They low right down. They say, it comes
lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight makes sense, right? And then light heavyweight makes sense. Well, like what is welter? What is a welter? What is a cruiser?
Dude, come on, flyweight. Do they fly away? Welterweight? What was a welterweight?
Wasn't there like some funny names like cockweight or something, like cockfighting weight? I don't know. There were some. I've seen some really funny ones in Muay Thai too.
When I was a kid, when I first heard straw weight, I thought it was like strawberry weight. I was like, oh, it's like a strawberry.
Straw weight, and then atom weight, like I don't know. I think the lightweight, all the lighter categories have some pretty interesting names, right? Like atom weight, straw weight, like you said.
Yeah.
All the other ones just make it like I said, doesn't really. Atom weight sounds like a lightweight, right? Straw weight sounds like a lightweight, like the straw that broke the camel's back or something. But cruiser, like you say, cruiser. I don't know what I can't tell what weight that is.
There's gonna be some
just
boxer.
Like you just told me he's right below heavyweight. I would never imagine. I would have imagined it's between right above middleweight or something.
I thought the same thing when I was younger. I remember, I was talking to somebody when I was like teenager, middle school, and I was like, man, I don't weigh enough to be a cruiserweight. And I think it was my boxing coach at the time was talking, and he was like, cruiserweight, Juan. Man, Juan, you're not even enough to be a welterweight. I'm like, what's a welterweight?
Yeah, this is welterweight, bantamweight. Like, they should just have names that makes more sense, I think, for that. Like,
yeah, well, that's a little side thing. So
sumo weight.
Moving on to another person that we want to congratulate. So a long time ago, we had Liana Mutia on the show. She's part of the United States blind judo team. And this past weekend, she actually took the gold at the Pan Am. So she's the champion of Pan Ams this year.
Yeah, she took bronze at Worlds and gold at Pan Ams. Like, she's on the roll.
She's doing amazing right now. She's doing fantastic. So maybe next year we can try to get her on a show again and be like, how's her goals going? Doing all these tournaments, winning championships, taking names,
Yeah, so I saw that picture. I want to say USA Judo. I can't remember who posted it. Like, I saw the picture, and the picture was just like literally cropped out. It was just her and the silver, and there was like, how there's 2 people that can get bronze, right? So the bronze podium is a little wider, but the way they cropped it out made it look like there's only 2 competitors, you know, and she won.
There was two other people. Two other people.
And then I saw a photo that she shared, and there was two other people in bronze, but for some reason they stood way to the right. Mm-hmm. So it was just like there's a huge gap between the first place and the third place people, and then it just looked weird after they cropped it out. So I was like, oh yeah, I can't imagine Pan Am's having only just two competitors, you know. So
no. But yeah, so congratulations to her kicking ass out there. Mm-hmm. So it's just nice seeing as people that we've had on the show, like continuing doing judo, continuing wrestling stuff, and just winning championships and doing well for themselves. And it's just that family that we're building here. And I hope to have them come back again. When Rossy gets in a championship, give them to come back. When Mutia wins the world championship, have her come back on us, have her come back again and talk, you know? So with that, also this past weekend, or 2 weekends ago, what would it be already? We had a Tokyo Grand Slam. Mm-hmm. So I know Anthony didn't keep up with the entire tournament and stuff. He's been very busy with other things. But so the Tokyo Grand Slam was freaking all Japan. It was all Japan. So let me put it into perspective right here for you. So the top 3 countries was Japan, Korea, and Italy. Okay. How many medals? Really? Yeah. Well, you'll see right now. Okay. How many medals do you think Japan took?
Oh, I'm just gonna guess like 15, 20.
Japan took 39 medals.
Oh my gosh.
12 gold, 12 silver, 15 bronze. All right. Korea took 3 medals, 1 gold and 2 bronze.
So when you say Korea and Italy, it's kind of like a huge gap between the first and second.
Yeah. And then Italy got 1 gold medal. All right.
Yeah.
And those are the top 3 teams. It was crazy. So there was, what did I write down right here? It was 10 All Japan finals. And what that means is that there was 2 Japanese players fighting for first and second place. There was 10 All Japan finals between the men and the women. There was 3 All Japan podiums. All right. Man. It was in the women's divisions also. That means that Japan took first, second, third, and third. So it was 3 All Japan podiums. That is nuts.
This is also I didn't watch most of them. Like I said, you said I was sick. I was traveling and I was sick again. And then we were doing the podcast. Traveling. And then I don't know what, I was just really busy, but I did keep up with the news, and people said this is also when Shohei Ono pulled out, Hifumi Abe pulled out, Takato pulled out. Like a lot of the people you expect to like dominate the tournament pulled out. It just goes to show how deep the talent pool Japan runs. And I think Kosei Inoue, one of the things he said was like, if you still see the same people winning, it goes to show I didn't do my job as a head coach to build up the next generation of judokas. He's saying it's like very true. Like if you still see the same people winning all the time, then the next generation is not coming up. She's not building up the next generation when a lot of these people are already past. Well, I don't want to say past their prime, but it kind of is true. They're already on the decline, whether due to injuries or age, or just the meta, the rules changing. And I think Shohei Ono couldn't make the weight cut, is what I heard. But yeah,
I heard something else, but I'm not going to spread rumors. I don't want to say anything. But so there was 2 players in the tournament that I was very impressed with, and I didn't write down the male's name, but I remember his story and them talking about him in the broadcast and stuff. So he's one of the guys. I believe he took silver. He's a Japanese player, of course. So judo isn't his full-time career. He's actually a high school teacher. He's a high school teacher on the Japanese team, maybe top 5 or something, top 4, whatever, but they picked him to go to the tournament. Because you were allowed to take in 4 people, or I believe. How many are you allowed to send?
I think it was 4 per weight class for the hosting country. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to be at least top 4 in there. As a high school teacher, not training full time, to take silver. That is nuts. That is nuts to think about that.
Yep.
Your math teacher's gonna whoop some ass. I don't know what class. I don't know.
Well, you never know. Maybe he's one of like the assist substitute teachers or something, or you know, like those paper pushing jobs that some people do. Like they work at the railway company, but then most of the time they're actually training and they only like work a couple hours a week or something. I don't know.
You are ruining the story, Anthony. Okay, I'm trying to make this crazy ass story here, and you're just like you and your logic all of a sudden. You're like, Juan, what is this actually? Okay. So that was a male player. There was this female player, Kano, Miyaki Kano. I can't remember her first name was, but her name was Kano, so I just wrote down Kano and stuff, which is a really cool name, I thought. Like, any relation? I don't know. But the cool thing about her is that she's 17. She's a world championship in her division already. That's the minus 81 kilo division.
For juniors, right? You're talking about junior worlds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in her division of 17, so she goes to this tournament. I think this is the first big tournament she's gone to, and she takes gold. And she did well. Like, she was throwing these ladies. Like, she was out there kicking ass.
Yeah.
Not being dominated, not getting pushed around by nobody. A 17-year-old kid is out there getting a gold medal at the Tokyo Grand Slam. Can you believe that shit?
I'm going to be the Debbie Downer, but
oh my God.
As someone who hasn't watched it yet, I just got to mention, like, home field advantage is totally a thing. Like, as we've talked about it in the past, even for the Olympics, refs, even from the refs call to things as simple as just traveling, like it's a time zone change and the food and cutting weight and everything. There's a home field advantage. So that's all I'm going to say. Not discrediting her, but yeah.
I can never watch a feel-good sports movie with you because the entire time you're like, well, Juan, technically he wouldn't be allowed to do that because of the movie.
Well, that's why
he didn't get the right grades, so
that's
he
why
can't win the game.
Matt says I'm a rules lawyer, even though I'm just like, I'm just saying there's caveats.
So that was a Tokyo Grand Slam. I thought it was a really good tournament, really fun to watch. I found a lot of the highlights online. There's 2 or 3 YouTube channels. I'm not going to say them because I don't want to get them in trouble or nothing, but you can find them if you look for them and stuff. Anthony's going to watch it because he has his NFT that he's going to buy another one next year.
I should try it because I did hear some people said there was some problem with the stream. I think it's coming from people that paid for it, not the NFT, but people actually who paid for it. I should ask Philippe since he paid for it, but I haven't tried using because I was traveling. Again, I was traveling. Yeah, I was traveling, and I like I said, the app on the phone was kind of buggy. It was better on the computer, so I didn't bring my laptop this time. So I'll go back and see if the replays work.
So with Anthony talking about his travels, and last episode or a few episodes ago, we talked about traveling during the holidays. Oh, I'm dying right now. My throat. Sorry. So we talked about Anthony traveling and stuff. He likes to go visit dojo, so he went on a holiday trip with his wife again. Went to go visit his in-laws.
It was to visit my in-laws. Yeah, you guys make it sound like it's like, oh, you're just traveling, staying in a villa, and
he loves holidays. Oh, did you want to talk about it? Show our fans the castle you're staying at in Ireland next year.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I'll show it once that actually happens. So I don't want to.
He's going to Ireland. He's staying at damn castle, people. All right, this guy complaining about I gotta
get a private chef and stuff apparently. So
private chef. I'm gonna kill you.
Seriously, they have a private chef at that castle.
Shit. I know why you complain, man.
It's my in-laws just retired. Well, one of them retired, another one's like half retired, and they're fully retiring next year. Well, it's December now, so starting January, they're talking about fully retiring. So they're traveling, like they're enjoying their time off, and we're going to go.
Yeah, why not? So enjoy yourself, have fun. Why not? And if my boy Anthony gets to go with you to castles, why not take him with you? So, as I was saying, Anthony went to travel. And we talked about traveling to other dojos during your vacation. So Anthony did travel to another dojo. He did visit a place. How was it? How'd you like it? And how was it?
So the place I visited was called. He actually listens to the podcast. So
cool! Shout out.
So Sensei Victor from. I hope I'm not mispronouncing the name, but I think it's a Greek word. Kogayon Academy. They do both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. And when I was planning on visiting, I was actually looking at this place, High Noon BJJ. I don't know if you heard of High Noon BJJ. That's where Chris Round started a judo program. They left sports judo. There's some drama to happen. I'm not going to talk about that, but they left sport. I think it was sports judo. It's called, and started their own program in the BJJ place. So I was interested in visiting that place, and also another place I was going to visit is Standard Jiu-Jitsu. Ultimately, I picked this place because I told Victor I was going to go visit them, and they seemed like I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram. I'll link it in the description, but he has some really good technique, and I wanted to do a judo class. Standard Jiu-Jitsu, if you're not familiar with it, he's kind of causing a stir in the BJJ community right now because he's doing what's kind of like an ecological approach to teaching Jiu-Jitsu. Not going to get into that. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode. But the problem was they only do no-gi, and I've never ever done no-gi before. So I only had time to visit one place and one class, so I just crossed that. That was immediately crossed out. I could just go back another time after I've done some more no-gi, I think. High Noon, the schedule just didn't work out. So, and like I said, I just really wanted to visit this place. So I sent him an Instagram message beforehand saying, hey, next month at this date, I'm going to be there. I'm going to try and show up on this date. Hopefully I can make it. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I showed up, and he recognized me at the door and everything. It was nice. They have a really nice space. Again, I was really impressed with this technique. He was teaching Tayatoshi that day. And sorry, I'm losing my voice again.
You're coughing more than I am.
Because of the emceeing I did yesterday at the holiday party. Yeah, he was teaching Tayatoshi, and he was teaching the throw to the top front right corner. And if you listen to the past episodes of the podcast where we talked about kata and Tayatoshi, he's one of the few instructors I've seen that teaches it that way. And like, I just really like that. So there was also with movement and everything, there was a few guys there that were my age or older, and we were doing randori. They said I was going too nice with them. But if you listen to the previous episode about visiting dojos, I try to like stay safe so I don't go too hard when I visit clubs. So I went with this brown belt smaller than me who was like beating me at grip fighting. And I'm starting to see a pattern after I went to Seattle and Portland, and I came back, and then now after this trip, I really need to work on my grip fighting a little more. I really need to work on that a little more. Not the strategy side, but I just think my grip strength is not as good, and I'm more hesitant to grip break. I feel like, because I feel like other people just grip break. I kind of just like to twist and turn and pull, but I don't really do full on like rip people's fingers out kind of grip break. And people have been doing that to me. So I think I'm just too nice. So I don't do that. My fingers actually been 6 months now. It hasn't fully healed because I keep
you get those snaps in your but that far knuckle starts just getting sore.
So every time if the pain goes away, someone grip breaks and it starts hurting. So it's like the thing where it's not healing properly. So I might chill out a little bit to let this heal and then work on my grip fighting a little more. I really need to work on that. So it was a great place. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Because especially if you're looking for a place that does both judo and jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, then this place is great. Everyone there is really nice, very safe to go with. I have no complaints about any of the people doing like Tani Otoshi or stupid sacrifice throws or anything on me. Everyone's really safe. He emphasized a lot on technique and everything. Plus, as you all know, I used to live around that area. So it's right across of one of my favorite restaurants called the Carlisle. so it's a little dated, but that's the charm of it. Like, it's like an old school Great American restaurant kind of thing. And they own a bunch of restaurant chains. They're called the Carlisle Group, I think. But that particular restaurant is called the Carlisle in Shillington. And it's like one of my favorite restaurants to go to. So I can imagine like going to eat there right after training. So
nice. That's cool. They recognized you. They say anything about the podcast?
No, I don't think so. He recognized me on Instagram, but that's how I know he used to listen to podcasts in the past, at least. I don't know about now. Everyone's busy with because remember, we started a podcast when everything was shut down. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure once they reopen, he's been busy, and his academy has been growing a lot. So I'm sure he's very busy. And I think one of his students, her name's Beatrice. She didn't recognize me at first, but then she was like, "Oh, you're Anthony Throws," and like afterwards, and yeah. So that was to the extent of being recognized, quote unquote. But yeah, everyone was really cool there.
Signing autographs, taking pictures.
I wish. All
right, that's cool. See, that's one of the good things about it when you travel places, finding a dojo, trying it out. And he said he showed Taitoshi a different way that you don't practice it normally. So it's a great way of learning something and adding to your repertoire.
Yep. He showed a few more things. I won't go into details, but it's again, that's why I like traveling, because even sometimes people teach something wrong. Sometimes they teach something differently. Sometimes they teach something correctly better than the way you learn it. But the main thing is I got to train with different people, and I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm probably the second largest guy there and probably the second physically strongest guy there. But I didn't use any of my strength, and I still learned a lot. Like the brown belt I was fighting just made me reflect on my grip fighting, like I said. So that's what I like about traveling.
People to remember.
Yeah.
Anthony's 6'4", minus 100 kilos. All right. Remember this.
Yep.
He's 6'4", minus 100 kilos. He's a big boy. I know you can't tell on the screen and stuff all the time.
Yeah, like I'm sure if I had 80 pounds on the guy. So if I really tried to use strength and my size to throw him, I probably would have been able to do it, but I wouldn't have learned anything. So this exchange kind of helped me reflect on my grip fighting. But at our dojo, for example, there's people who just overpower me with their grip fighting strength, and then there's people I'm bigger with who aren't very good at grip fighting. So I don't really get to see this reflection. But then when there's someone smaller that's beating me at grip fighting, then I'm like, oh man, I should probably get better at grip fighting.
All right, so that's a new goal for next year. All right. Yeah. So when he was off doing that, I myself stayed here in California.
You're reminding me now. I missed Winter Nationals and my Jiu-Jitsu World League tournament. I'll talk about it later, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. So as I was saying, so when Anthony was off traveling and stuff, having a nice time, drinking beer, hanging out on the coast or beach, where the heck he was this time, I stayed here in California. I competed at the Winter Nationals. So I competed so it was a 2-day tournament this year, and I competed on Saturday, and then on Sunday I coached. I did actually coach on Saturday as well. So, but I don't really talk about the competition that much. I had an okay competition. I really messed up the night before. I ended up doing a night shoot the night before Winter Nationals. It wasn't supposed to be a night shoot. They said, well, you guys will get off at 4, or it's not going to be all night.
You've been doing a lot of night shoots lately. Are you like filming holiday specials or something?
Actually, I only did 2 holiday specials this year, and I'll just put them out there now. People will want to look for them. So Rev Run did a holiday special for Disney Channel. It's a hip hop Nutcracker version thing, a hip hop Nutcracker, hosted by Rev Run.
That sounds like a rap name. Sorry, hip hop Nutcracker.
Well, yeah, you know Run DMC.
Yeah,
tell me you know. Oh,
I do know him. Yeah, I do know him.
Okay, because there was a guy on set that was like, there's a Run DMC album, and the guy was like, is that him? And I was like, oh, kid, I'm going to hit you right now so hard. So I did a lot of background on that special. When they did the New York streets, I'm there a lot. I look like I'm wearing my green bomber coat and this turtleneck mustard top and a flat top cap. I look like I'm from the 70s. I look great in it. It was very fun. But I only did that special this year. And the only other special I did was... you ever heard of the show called Murderville?
No.
It's a show on Netflix, and it's an all improv show.
Yeah, I don't watch Netflix, so yeah, there's no way.
So it's an all improv show. They take a celebrity on there and just improv the entire show. So they did a holiday special. I played one of the cops in the holiday special. I'm only in like 2 or 3 scenes, but I pretty featured in it. So those are the 2 holiday shows I did this year. Okay. Sadly, I wasn't in 911 this year, but But yeah, so the night before Winter Nationals, it was supposed to be not an all night shoot. Turned into it was going to go late. Then turned into I didn't get off work till 6 a.m. Was it 6 a.m. or 5 a.m.? I can't remember.
You said 6, I think.
Yeah. So I got off work at 6 a.m. Got like an hour and a half of sleep at home. Tried to sleep in the car. Performed terribly. Shotgun a rock star. Competed. I took third place in Winter Nationals. I could have done better, but it is what it is. It's life.
I would have just not showed up. I would have just slept in.
Hey, I paid that money. That's what people say, like, oh, well, you should have gone. I paid that money. I ain't getting that money back. I'm going.
I paid for, again, I don't want to derail a tournament. I paid for that tournament I'm going to in San Diego this coming Saturday. So that it'll be tomorrow after this episode airs. I'm going to a tournament after the day after this episode airs, and I'm considering not going because I'm exhausted as hell after everything that's been happening. Well,
I'm too stupid not to go. Right. That's all I know. That's how I say. People ask like, why'd you go? Why'd you do it? Because I'm too dumb not to. All right. All I know is competition. All right.
I at least would not have shotgunned a Rockstar because to me that makes your heart rate go up. So I would not. Yeah. I did that when I was a white belt, and I realized really fast it was a big mistake to drink.
Well, it's funny. Back when I was MMA fighting, the Camo actually sent an email out to everybody saying that you're not allowed to or not supposed to drink any energy drinks before your fights. Because due to some of these fights back in the locker room area, there'd be just Monsters, Rock Stars, 5-hour energy drinks that's all over the place. And I'm just thinking, is that what people are doing? That's how they get energy for the fights? I'm so stupid. Why am I not doing this?
No, I did it one time, and I literally think like I was having a heart attack after my first match. So
that's what they tell you not to do it. So
yeah, I'm not going to do it.
So whatever. So, but my thing that I wanted to talk about here was, now you've done the smooth comp before for coaching.
Yep.
This is my first time experiencing smooth comp as a competitor and as coaching. So I kind of want to just talk about our experiences now using it. Now for me, registering as a competitor was very easy and simple. The part I had a problem with, and I've heard a lot of people are having problems with this, was that I don't know if it's Nanka that did this. I'm not bashing Nanka. I'm just bashing the way the site was made. Is that if you wanted to register as a coach, when you try to register, it would keep on coming up to go to Sensei Philippe's coaching clinic. And you couldn't, it was like a day or two, I just kept on trying to look like I'll get frustrated, put it back down, look it up again, put it back down to try to find the area where I can just pay for the coaching. Because I'm already a certified coach, right? Got my stuff. I just wanted to pay the $15, put in my application or submit my certificate and my safe sports stuff, showing that I'm a legit coach, and they pay my $15, I'm done. But every time I kept going on there, it kept saying Philippe's thing, go to Philippe's class, go to Philippe's class. I'm like, I don't want to go to Philippe's class. I'm sorry. I'm with him all the time. Okay. I'm with him like 5 days a week almost. All right. I don't need to take his class. But I heard that there was a problem because on the first day, apparently a lot of coaches didn't understand or fully read the text that you need to register. So the first day, a lot of coaches didn't get to coach because they didn't get their badge. They didn't get their thing certified or whatnot, or take Philippe's course. So for me, registering with Smooth Comp was super easy, but the coaching part was a little bit tough. And I don't know if that was a Nanka thing or if that was a Smooth Comp thing. Also with that, I noticed that on the second day of the tournament, like the first day, they were very strict on looking for your wristband to know you're a coach and stuff. And even when I went to go get my wristband, he looked at my name, Juan Rodriguez, Hollywood Judo, okay, there, here's your wristband. The second day, I went up there, can I get my coaching wristband? My name's Juan, here you go. Like, do you not want my name or anything? So the second day was pretty bad. You just handing them out to anybody.
This is why I don't understand. It goes back to that episode about bad etiquette that we talked about. Too many people just going into the competitors area.
Yeah.
Why? Like, you know how when we got our coaching license or whatever certificate, we got a badge, right? So I've almost never, ever seen anyone use that badge. No one's ever checked my badge when they just, like you said, you have to show up beforehand, register beforehand, and get the wristband, right? When I get my wristband, I never, ever had to show my badge. What is the purpose of the badge? Why do we even need to register? Just make it so if you want to sit on the coach chair or enter the competition area, have a badge that's not expired. and the badge has your photo on it. So I don't, what's so hard about that? Wristbands, you can fake, you can pass it to someone else. Like,
well, like I said,
also there's nepotism, right? Because technically Philippe hasn't done this before, but technically he could go to the tournament director and be like, hey, I have 3 coaches, can I get 3 wristbands? And he can give one to Scotty, who's not certified to be a coach. Like, so
you guys will meet Scotty next episode also.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I don't understand why do we have these badges if you're gonna not use them and basically use a archaic system? But
my thing was that the first day they were very strict. They were like on the ball. It was like the area was pretty clean and stuff, not that crowded. It was just competitor and coaches. Like I said, the second day there was families down there, moms with cell phones.
Oh, so it's happening again.
Yeah, it was just like people just getting lazy the second day, and nobody was like, they're coming down and trying to enforce, like, ma'am, could you go upstairs? Sir, where's your badge? Can you go upstairs? And it'd be like, oh, okay, yes. And then they would just leave. They wouldn't leave, but once the security person would leave, they would just stay there. And I'm just like, God, it's so crowded here. I can't coach my guys. And that was just one thing. Like, to me, if that was to happen, if I was a security guard and there was a person there, a parent, a cousin, a family member that's not leaving, I would go look. I'd be like, what gym are you? And I would go to their coach and tell their coach, like, hey, this person needs to leave, because they weren't listening. The other thing I noticed that, which got me off guard, I also called a little bit with Philippe also, is that there's some of these coaches that weren't doing, like, okay, so one of the new things, and this is now we're getting off smooth comp now, but it's just about the badges and the coaching. But so you know how, like, now there's a thing where you bow when they bow, when your players bow, you bow with them, and then you bow to each other.
To the coach?
Yeah, the coaches.
I always did that. I notice it's only me, Philippe, and the Japanese senseis that do it. Like, no one else does it.
Well, it's been a new thing. Like, they're trying to do it more now. So at this tournament, almost every coach is doing it. There was only a few gyms, and I'm not going to name them out.
Oh, we all know who it is. You didn't even tell me this beforehand. I can already guess who you're talking about.
Everyone was bowing. Pretty much everyone was bowing, except for those few gyms that I don't know how they get their coaching badge in the first place, because I've never seen them at a coaching class. So I don't know how they get their stuff.
As someone on Reddit said it was like from the city that starts with a G and it's not Gardena. Like, damn it, Gardena Judo.
Hey, no, I love Gardena Judo. Hey, you guys, no, I got love for you guys. All right, you guys ain't bad. No, Anthony's talking shit right now. Right, we're gonna call it Hollywood Judo on Saturday afternoons. Anthony will be there. Open Matt Rondori. But there's little things like, if you don't go to the coaching clinics or you're not up to date on things, you want to know. So there's stuff like that was a little annoying to me and stuff. But that, I think, has to go with the smooth comp and maybe not being clear about you needing coaching badge and all that. And then
nobody reads the rules,
not enforcing it. So everything for smooth comp went great. Like, registering for it, seeing who's in my category was there. I even love this whole thing. Like, so you get this green dot once you weighed in and stuff, and your red dot when you don't weigh in. So even that was like knowing when your opponent weighed in and stuff was really cool to know that, like, who's going to compete, who's not going to compete. And then getting the list the day of, the night before, of like what mat you're on, what your estimated time is, what number you are. And even that was really great. The only thing with the number is that, so because it was on your phone, the tables weren't having numbers up. They didn't have the digital board up, and they didn't have the little flip number up.
Yep.
Which
Dallas Invitationals had that. But by the way,
they had the numbers up.
They had the numbers up for Dallas Invitationals.
That makes it so much easier, because I know what my number is. I can look at my table, like, okay, I'm at 5. What number are they on? Okay, they're still on match 6. Okay, I'm on match 15. I should start going down there. You don't know. All you can go off is like, okay, what time is it now? Okay, what time I estimate to fight? So that was one thing. That's the whole thing about not.
Did they have someone calling, looking at their phone and calling on decks this time?
Yes, they have people calling on decks.
Okay, so they learned. All right.
Yeah. They had someone calling on decks, but that was kind of interesting. So it made it, smooth comp did make everything, in my opinion, for the most part, its competitor, pretty smooth for me.
Was the estimated time accurate? Did it kept getting pushed back? Did it move forward?
There was some people the second day, and when I come now to coaching now, one of my players, like, he was supposed to fight at 12 o'clock. And we're like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? He showed up like right before 12. I'm like, you better warm up right now. I look at my phone. He just got pushed to 1 o'clock. Son of a...
That's not too bad, but I think we talked about it before, but there was one where they pushed it to like 6 p.m. And then the guy went to the mall to get some food. And then it went back to like 1 p.m. And I'm like, hey, come back here right now. And then he came back here and then pushed it to like 4 p.m. again. Like that's what happened before. And that more had to do with how they didn't know how to use the system. So they were like skipping matches and then going back and stuff like that. So I didn't know if you encountered any of that this time.
No, it was no one got pushed, like bounced way up and then way down. And mostly if things would get pushed back a little bit. The worst one I said was that one that got pushed an hour, which was crazy. Mostly be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like up and down. Yeah. But it was in a similar area. It wasn't nothing like crazy, like 6 hours from now and then 3 hours from now. And oh no, you're up exactly right now. Exactly. It's just
so the scoreboards didn't have the match number up.
Oh,
did you check that? They should, right?
You know what? I really didn't look.
Okay.
I was just
when I say Dallas Invitationals had it, they had like a sign that's like up high that you can see it.
Yeah.
But
see, that's what we normally have. We had not normally, but we used to have
USA Nationals, President's Cup. They all have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a little annoying because it's like what my number is, and then I have to go downstairs and probably somebody ask like, "Oh, who's on this?" or "Who's that number right there?" or "Who's this?" So I was a little annoying, but that was more of a, again, not dogging Nanka, but it's a Nanka problem right there. Nanka should have had a flip board up at least, okay. But they did have some people that would start shouting names like when you're in 5 of your match, be like making sure people were there, and then it would call people when they're on deck, which is kind of tough too because I'd be looking at my phone the entire time and refreshing, going back to here, going back there, check that mat, check this mat. So, but for me, I actually pretty much like the smooth comp for the most part.
How long were you there for? Let me ask you that. As a competitor on day one, how long were you there for?
Oh, as a competitor, I was. So
that's a real question, huh?
No. Okay. My first match was at 11. Okay.
Was that what you were scheduled for? Like they told you to be, okay.
Scheduled. Yeah.
And you actually fought at 11?
I fought like at 11, maybe 11:30 or something.
Okay.
So I would have been like pretty much in and out. Like there was a lot of people that were just in and out. That's why the first day the stands never got too full. People were leaving. Like once they were done, they would leave and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a second day where people would just stay, hang out, family and friends. It was mostly because that was the big kids day. But for me, see, I got there around 9, tried to sleep in the car for about another 10 till 10, got out, slammed the Rockstar, warmed up, and then competed at 11. And I think I was probably done by 11:30, 12.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I did notice I saw some video clips. I'm like, why is there no one in the stands as well? Is this like late at night or something?
No, it's because people were only there for their stuff. People weren't getting there. It was like how it was before. Everyone has to be there at 9 a.m. and you're not competing until 5 or 6 at night sometimes. But because the thing, you never know when you're going to go up, you all have to show up at 9 for that dumb opening ceremony.
That's like the interesting thing I see is like jiu-jitsu clubs, when they go to Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments, their whole team goes and they stay for the whole thing to support their teammates. It was like a really interesting aspect of the culture, I guess. But
our
judo
team
is
did that.
like our team did that.
We had at least I want to say about 5, maybe 6 of our people that weren't competing that day that just came to watch on day one, and I was really surprised.
Yeah,
5 people. We even had that brand new white belt couple show up, and they're like, "Hey, good job, Sensei."
Oh, they showed up.
Shit. Yeah, and I was like, what? At first, I was like, "Oh, thanks." I didn't know who it was. I was like, "Oh shit, what are you two doing here?" Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The second day, we only had one person show up to watch the white belts and the kids, but it is what it is. People want to see the black belts fight.
Yep. Now, how did you? Let's not talk about your matches, but how did you feel about the refereeing and calls for the other matches you've seen, if you've seen them, or for our other competitors?
It's a tale as old as time.
Okay, well, you don't have to emphasize if you don't want to.
No, it is what it is. You know, there's some good calls or some bad calls. There was nothing super blatant.
Was there video replay?
Yes, they did do some video replays for certain things. Actually, be interesting to talk to, because as you saw in the post, one of our part-time members, Pamela, was reffing full-time there. And also one of our full-time members, Brian, he actually is trying to get some more points to get his sixth dan, I think he's trying to get. So he's trying to get some more points. So he was out there reffing too.
I personally think he's competed enough to earn that sixth dan already, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, he was ranked number 1 in the world in his age bracket, so why not?
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, there was nothing super crazy or terrible that I saw when I was coaching or reffing. There's always gonna be that move that you think, oh, that was more of a Wazadi. There'd be like, oh, that was Ippon. There was some things where one of our kids bridged like a really big bridge, and he didn't understand why he got Ippon. And I told him, like I've told us before, like you can be lazy with this at the dojo, but if you choose a competition, you're going to get not Shido, but it's going to be an automatic Ippon. All right. And there's one thing you guys are lazy at the dojo and get away with this stuff or practice it thinking, oh, whatever. And that builds bad habits. And then you do it at competition. This is what happens. So I think it's like, that's good stuff at the competition where there were certain rules get enforced more that they're not used to. And they're like, oh man, I didn't realize that.
Did you see any head dive calls?
Oh yeah. There was one kid, they did a super head dive. And I think they gave it to him as Ippon at first, but they took it away. Because the side refs were like, no.
Did you see any like Shohei Ono level head dive disqualifications? Because they're not calling it at the high level. I'm telling you that right now.
I want to say yes, but I'm not remember exactly. I want to say I think I did see something that crazy, but I don't remember if I did or not. But I want to say yes. It was when I did see. It was one of our younger students was asking me, "Why is this kid crying?" And I was like, because some people can't take losses. That you can't take a loss. That's why. It was really funny. I felt bad for the kid, but it was like, why is he crying for?
I really wish I did Winter Nationals if it was that. It seemed like it was really well run, and you didn't have to be there the whole day if you didn't have to be. So yeah. Well,
with being there as a coach, the second day so it was funny. So we had some adults the very first matches of the day on the second day. We had 2 of our adults the very first match of the day. Mm-hmm. We had 1 kid in the middle of the day, and then we had another kid way at the end of the day. Like seriously, like one of the last matches of the tournament, this kid was. So we're there just like these long 2-hour breaks and stuff. They're like, oh, not doing nothing now, just sitting around. So, but other than that, if we had more people, it would probably been better because we'd be like consistently coaching. Mm-hmm. But we had a majority of our people go the first day and just a handful go the second day.
Yeah.
But after you do the smooth comp this time, I really do like it. It does make things better. They're just a little things that not good.
I was complaining about it, but it's definitely better than what we had before. And I think as they use it more, it's just going to get better. But leads to what I was going to say was it took them 2 days to run it that efficiently. And I just want to say, like, I posted on my Instagram story, but the tournament I'm signing up for is like a relatively small jiu-jitsu tournament, and it's 2,800 people signed up, and they're all going to do it on one day. So,
well, how many mats do they have? How many mats are they going to do?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll let you know. I'll update.
Because Winter Nationals,
I really don't want to go, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go. So, yeah.
All right.
So
Winter Nationals 6 mats, and to make it 2 days. Well, one of the reasons they made it only one day before is that they took out the kata competition. And I know in the olden days when they used to do it, it was all the competitors on one day and then they kata competition the second day. Mm-hmm. And well, this one, they did kata and adults and black belts all on day 1. And day 2 was the IGF kids and youths and
novices.
What is it? Novices, adults. Mm-hmm. But on both days, they had to be done by like 4:00 because they had the Marty Malloy and guy.
Did you know anyone that went to that, by the way?
I don't know. I didn't see anybody. And even with the first day, like when we left, like there was a lot of people leaving. So I don't know if people are going to come back for the clinic or not a lot of people stayed for the clinic. I don't know. But yeah, it seemed
I didn't see much social media posts about it. So
yeah. Well, she was walking around saying hi to people and stuff, taking pictures, high-fiving, Yeah. But that was the other thing. Like if we were to stay there all day, like we used to, like what was it? The Nikkei games. We're there 12 hours that one year.
Oh God.
If we were to do that, you could do it all in one day, I think.
Yeah. Man, like the next biggest tournament coming up is going to be the San Jose Buddhist tournament, and that's the last tournament I went to that broke my knee. Well, it was the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing.
The straw weight that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I waited 13 hours there, so I really hope that's not going to be the case. I don't want to. I might just stay overnight at San Jose, basically not going to do the 1 day trip that I did last time, just in case they do the 13 hours. I don't want to.
Well, if they do smooth comp, it should be smooth. It should go smoother.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I won't even go, honestly. But so that. What about the clinic? Did you go to the coaching clinic?
Like I said no, because I already had my coaching certificate. Philippe kept trying to get me to go, but I was like, why? I already have a coaching certificate. Why am I going to pay for this clinic when my coaching thing's good for another 2-3 years?
Mine is expiring this March, so but I can renew it. I just prefer not to give USJA money. So and I'll say that out loud. I just don't want to give USJA money. I prefer not to give any of them money, but
well, it's funny because my coaching certificate's good and stuff. All my stuff's up to date, but I can't remember which one it is. USJA or USJF is like, your background check's expiring. Your background check's expiring.
USJA. I actually got an email about your thing expiring. So
did it? Is it USJA? Okay, USJA. Your background check expires. Like, really? I don't think so.
They don't make any money out of that. So
okay,
you might as well, it's not like a scam thing. So
all right, no, because it's weird to me. They keep on saying that your background check's expiring and stuff. I'm like, okay,
all right.
I only need it when I need my certificate. I need my coaching thing up to date.
Okay, so that's the Winter Nationals.
That was Winter Nationals. Mm-hmm. So, did you want to talk about, since it's coming to the end of the year, and we've had a lot of good matches throughout the year? Not us personally. I've had some okay matches. Do you want to talk about what your players of the year are so far?
Yeah, let's go with that. So we always did that, and as we already said, the next episode is going to be the last episode of the year is going to be the trivia episode that we already recorded a few weeks ago. So this is going to be the last episode of the year, and we're technically so.
The last episode of the year.
I've been really busy this year. I've been traveling a lot and working a lot, so I have not been keeping up to date with a lot of the matches. I've been watching a lot of stuff, and a lot of people retired or changed weight classes. So I really don't know how I would call. I wouldn't be able to fairly judge like player of the year. Like one example will be Dari Beloded, right? People would always I'm sure she would have been player of the year. She kept that weight category she was at, but she moved up 2 weight classes and she's not doing as hot as she used to be. So that's a wash. Shohei Ono hasn't been competing at all. So I guess by default, Hifumi Abe, right?
So you're going to sound terrible now because you know what my pick is. So now you say Hifumi, and I'm just like, man, you're going to think we're a bunch of marks now. We're just a bunch of Abe marks.
But I know, but everyone knows I like.
Look at the way he fought the World Championships. That man is a killer. Look at the way he fought the World Championships.
I know. I'm not discrediting him, but everyone knows I'm a Maruyama fan, right?
Maruyama looked like he was gonna cry after that match. I was like, man, don't cry. It's okay.
Yeah. He made a mistake. Like if you looked at it, it was a pretty dumb mistake because it was the same exact way he lost as the Olympic spot, the one-on-one match they had. Same exact counter that Abe did on him. Which is what it is. But I'm gonna say Hifumi Abe, player of the year. Same thing with the women's side. Uta Abe. Like, there's no questioning. And I as you know, I personally just discount anyone that plays Shido games or you know what I'm talking about, right? I discount anyone that plays Shido games as the player of the year. I don't care if you won Olympic gold and or world medal champion if you just drop knee your way into Shidos and won it. So I just discount that personally. But so Hifumi Abe and Uta Abe.
Yeah. Well, I really didn't have a pick for the male division. I was just going to pick one person for overall, but I don't know. I really liked how Aaron Wolf fought this year. I thought he had some really cool matches. I liked the way he fought the World Championships. But
I'd just scared of him, you know?
You're just scared of that guy.
Yeah, like
guy's coming after you. His name's Wolf.
No, I can imagine doing randori with Yamashita, with Kosei Inoue, with Hifumi Abe. But then when I think of doing randori with Aaron Wolf, I'm just like, God dang! Like,
I'll be like, you get him, Anthony. You go first.
He's been doing some YouTube videos where he was like visiting schools and doing randori with high school students. I'm like, damn, that's scary. Like, he's no mercy.
No mercy.
Yeah.
Bushido spirit. Bam! How you like that?
Well, he reminds me of like a bear, like, you know, like not.
He reminds me of a wolf. Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yeah, no, he is really explosive. That's why I'm scared, I guess. Yeah.
So, but my overall pick this year, because she's had an amazing year, in my opinion, was Uta Abe. Where there's females, males, anybody overall, I think she had a great year. She won the world championships. She took first.
She came back from double shoulder surgery too. I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
took gold at the Tokyo Grand Slam, and then she competed at what was the Grand Prix she went to? Croatian Grand Prix. That's what she went to. She took gold there as well. So I think she only competed like 3 times this year, but that's enough, you know?
Yeah.
You get the big points
in like a
tournaments.
week, there's going to be Masters. I wonder if she's going to go.
Oh, yeah. Actually, she'll be there.
Yeah.
Most likely. I assume so.
I was really looking forward to Hifumi Abe fighting Maruyama again, but that didn't happen because Maruyama got gold, by the way, at Tokyo Grand Slam. So I really hope they match up again and Hifumi Abe doesn't pull out. People were giving Hifumi Abe shit for pulling out of the Tokyo Grand Slam, and I guess to extent Shohei Ono, but Hifumi Abe, the reason he gave was like it was like too much right after coming from the World Championship. Was it like I think it was World Championship? So they like he need rest, but I think if he was planning to fight in the Masters, then it makes sense to like skip the Grand Slam because I think 3 in a row within like 3 months is pretty intense. So
it's your job.
Yeah, but you want to if you don't need the points, like why would you? Yeah. So
that's the whole Japanese thing. People don't get that. The Japanese just fight to get enough points to go to the Olympics, and that's it. Like, do more and you have to.
Yeah, and keep in shape. I mean, they're keeping an eye on the prize, but I do want to see another Maruyama versus Hifumi Abe matchup because I know at high level that's what it's like, but I hate watching them lose or win by Shidos or lose to the counters, like that sort of counter that you see. I want to see like a good throw. So
I also like seeing it at an IGF tournament, so you don't have that bias because that's why people were upset when they fought in Japan. They're like, oh, they're being too biased. They were not fighting by IJF rules. They're doing Japanese.
Oh yeah, that was my complaint. Was they definitely weren't fighting by IJF rules.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I know you were mad about that, but there's other people also that are talking about that. So yeah, it's very interesting to watch them fight at a tournament that has like, well, maybe at the Tokyo, there would still be that bias, but if at the World Masters, where's it going to be held at this year? I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember.
I don't know. Look it up. World Masters Judo. Jerusalem. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, we talked about it for. I won't spoil. No spoiler. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. But those are our picks this year for our plays of the year so far. You know. It changes each year and stuff.
I also would have more picks, but as we've said before, there's like a changing of the guard in many of the weight classes. So there are a lot of up and comers that did well, but haven't like really proven themselves yet or really dominated. And it's in a way that we would like say like, hey, he's like, this guy's like player of the year or anything. I want to give like an honorary like shout out, I guess, or honorary prize to Yang Wei, the Taiwanese guy. He didn't win, I think, but he still did really well. Who did he lose to? I'm trying to remember. I saw a clip about it.
I don't know. Not top of my head.
He still did really well. So I would give him like another honorary thing. Koga Genki, Koga's son, like he did really well too. But again, he didn't win the whole tournament. So he hasn't been competing that much either. And overall, I think compared to other people. So yeah, then will be interesting to see how these people grow, and maybe they'll be player of the year on our list next year.
Maybe. Well, I think that's actually, thinking about it now, I think last year I picked Uta Abe as my female player of the year also. So
did I pick? No, I picked Mong Bot, right? I think I remember.
Yeah. Because we both like Mong Bot, but now she's retired in MMA.
Yeah.
And now she's an amateur champion.
She's been enjoying her time. If you follow her Instagram, she's been enjoying her time, like traveling around and everywhere. It's pretty amazing.
All right. So is there anything else you want to talk about in this episode?
Yeah. Since we pre-recorded the last episode or the next episode about the trivia, make sure you guys go listen to that. We have a special guest and 2 special guests. One of them is Scotty, as we mentioned. Also, again, I mentioned I'm going to be doing my first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament tomorrow as of airing the podcast this episode. So maybe we'll do a recap in the new year about my first tournament experience. I really don't want to do it. Man, like,
so you're the only guys I know. They're like, I paid all this money for this jiu-jitsu tournament, but I'm tired. I'm not going to go. No, you'd be like me, be crazy, work till 6 a.m., get an hour and a half of sleep, and get on the mat. All right.
I'm going to straight up just say I don't enjoy sitting. It's not even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? I'm okay with training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'll be honest, I don't love it, but I like it. Okay. I like training BJJ. I don't love it, but I like it. And I just really don't want to drive to San Diego to compete. If it was in LA, I would have been like fine, but that's my fault for misplanning everything and missing all the tournaments. So this is the last tournament of the year that I can go to realistically and make my New Year's resolution come true, which is to compete in a BJJ tournament. So
is the wife going with you?
No, she has to watch my dog, so we don't have a dog sitter. Otherwise, she would. But I have a friend visiting tomorrow, and she's staying with us through New Year's, so she might come to judo. You met her before. She came to watch Rondori one time on Saturday. Yeah. So she's gonna come with me because she likes watching. But I don't know. I'm so exhausted, and I don't know how well I'll perform. Mentally, I'm not in the competition mindset right now, and I'm struggling a little. I'm a little worried about my weight, whether I would make weight because I had to weigh in with a gi.
Yeah.
As of last Friday, I think I was 0.1 pounds under the limit. So,
all right, time to bust out the plastics.
We just went to my wife's company party where there was an open bar and like really swanky free food at Beverly Hills.
Self-control, do you?
And then we had the dojo holiday party just yesterday where we had the taco stand. So yeah, I'm gonna go on a run after this actually and lift some weights because I'm really worried about my weight. Yeah, it's between that and having to drive in the morning, not knowing how long I have to wait, and then drive back the same day kind of thing, just stresses me out. So I haven't even bothered looking into rules. I was going to review the rules because I know every federation has different rules.
Just heel hook everyone. Just go down, throw them, heel hook them. Just do that.
I'm just going to go compete. I actually almost signed up for the under 30 tournament. They automatically assigned me to under 30. So good thing I checked on the day before the limit was the day before the deadline to change weight categories and divisions. So I asked my wife, I'm like, should I just fight 20-year-olds? And then she was like, no, I want you to come home like uninjured and stuff, right? And I asked a bunch of people and they're like, no, you should like fight people your age. So that's when you know you're old. So,
yep.
I
went to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir.
As of Friday, I went from a 13-person bracket into like a 5 or 6 person bracket. Signups are still open, so it can always change. But yeah, I think I'll just go and do my thing and see how it works out. Win or lose, I just need to get my resolution out of the way and say I've done it. If I have fun, I might do it again. But I'm not a competitor. I don't really like it. So,
all right. And with that, we must bid you all adieu. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. Follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow me at _Juan at Tatami Talk at Tatami Talk on Instagram. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. See, the medicine started to get to me now. I was feeling good for a little while. I'm feeling down a little bit. I went up, now I'm coming back down. You have any questions, things you want us to talk about, things you want us to go over, you can send it to us at tatamitalk@gmail.com. So Anthony, you ready?
Yep. We'll just remember Merry Christmas and I guess Happy New Year. Like, I don't know how it's going to work out with the episode, but Happy New Year. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive. And we'll see you guys next year.
So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus for the rest of us, and Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year's. I think I got everything out the way. Yep. I think we're all good now. All right?
Yep.
So don't forget to
slap the mat.